we're being joined on the broadcast with Durga Nand Jha, Executive Chairman for the Center for Policy Analysis. We also have with us Mir Ashif Shamim, a consultant content developer at National Institute for Smart Government, and we also have with us Mohd Ali Shah, defense expert and Empower Media panelist. Let me begin the conversation. Major Shah, we've had many of these conversations on NewsX itself. Up until just even last year, we were discussing, if you remember, the US State Department, they released this International Religious Freedom Report, and there was a lot of hullabaloo about India and the minorities in India being under distress. They said that there was a rise in attacks on minority communities. There were killings, assault, intimidation that has occurred throughout 2021, and therefore India, the minorities in India are in complete doldrum. We have time and again tried to question what is the basis of these reports that these international organizations continue to publish. Today, I began this conversation by very clearly asking Mr. Durga Jha the parameters. You tell us what your parameters were. He said in terms of positions of power, heads of state, these are just some of them. In terms of respecting minorities by giving, by allowing religious holidays for all and not just for one community. And most importantly, for there to be an increase in the population of minorities and for there never to have been a decrease per se. Even if the numbers have stayed constant, there's not been a decrease per se. Major Shah, these are the parameters that India then needs to highlight to the world. It doesn't matter who then is publishing the report, but at least the parameters should be clear. You can't just say that, oh, minorities in India, there were attacks against them. 100 people from a minority community died in India, therefore all minorities in India are suffering. Let's have a look at then the killings, the mass shootings that take place in the US. Should we start inspecting them on religious and other lines?
Devika, first let me begin by appreciating you for steering any conversation which could be very controversial in a very, very sophisticated, mature, intelligent and a balanced manner. Now, having said that, I would say first I would quote by Dr. Zakir Hussain, Muslim President of India, Fakhruddin Ali Ahmad, Muslim President of India, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, Muslim President of India. Where else can we have the head of the state from the minority community with ease? We've had Muslim former vice presidents. We've had Air Marshal Latif, former chief of the Air Force, a Muslim. We've had a former deputy chief of the army staff of the Indian Army, a Muslim, Lieutenant General Zamiruddin Shah, incidentally my father. In fact, I take pride to be a Muslim of this country, and I can proudly say that minorities, let me explain one thing in a very, very crystal clear manner. See, I'll give you an example of school where a person who's weak was always discriminated, was bullied in school, irrespective of whichever caste, creed, whatever the person came from. So it is a rule of life, firstly, but then we have to be better than the best. We have to stand taller. If you are actually strong, if you can stand tall, no one can bully you, no one can discriminate you, irrespective from which village, which city, which country, which nationality, which religion, which caste, creed you come from. You've got to stand tall with education. So as Mr. Durga Jha said, that he took the report from the people from the minority, from the positions they held. Well, let us come down to the lower strata now. Not the privileged Muslims, the ones who are not everyone's as privileged as us. Okay, fine. Now, when they are attacks on minorities, only, not in India, anywhere. Now, I would see it more as a law and order problem. Let me tell you, it's not minority, majority. We are equally safe and equally unsafe in our country. Tomorrow, if there's an attack on me, would it be because Mohd Ali Shah was attacked because he's a Muslim, or something happened, there was a brawl and Mohd Ali Shah was attacked? Mr. Chopra was attacked. So it is about law and order. I don't see it as it's on minority.
Yes, but Major Shah, I promise you that if this example of an attack that you're giving, the NYT, Washington Post, they will write India's Muslim Major Shah attack. They would write that. because it suits their narrative, it suits their purpose. And therefore,
You're
like I
right.
said, it's so important to have very clear parameters on what basis have these organizations, these international organizations that we think, oh, because it's an organization, it's a think tank in the US, so wow, they must be, you know, their thinking is unmatched, unparalleled. And how can an Indian think tank come out with a report? Why not? Why shouldn't an Indian think tank come out with a report?
You're right, Devika. You know, now again, as per this report, 110 nations they had taken into consideration 110 nations, and South Korea, Japan, Panama, US, Maldives, Afghanistan, Somalia, and of course, and UK and UAE, which were on the bottom of the chart, came out with the position of 64, 54 and 61 respectively. And you're right, why not an Indian, this survey to be done by an Indian? And I think, see, a person, let me tell you another example. When I was in the army, I always felt that minorities are not just tolerated but celebrated in our country. For example, my men would wish me by greeting me on Eid by saying, Ram Ram Saab, Eid Mubarak. So that is the beauty. I mean, where else will you find this kind of, and the kind of bonhomie we shared on Dashera, on Durga Puja. I used to lead the Mandir parade of my company when I was I was a company commander with the Assam Rifles in Nagaland. I would lead the Mandir parade, and it would be, I learned the Karni Mata Aarti, the Durga Mata Aarti, secularism. My religion was nothing but my uniform, and I was an Indian. That's it. So religion is a very, very personal matter. You know, the moment we make a big hullabaloo about it and we go on the streets that, no, I will put in loudspeakers, I will project, I'll wear religion on my sleeves and such things. And that is when the problem comes in. See, being a Muslim, if I respect other communities are bound to respect me 100%. It is not that, you know, okay, I don't have any respect for the other communities will not have respect for me. Like, for example, when I was in the Northeast, I'll give you another example. As an army officer, people initially were not very supportive of the army in the Northeast. But when they would see me in uniform with my AK-47 and grenades, they started having faith in the army. They told me that the perception about the army changed after meeting officers like my colleagues and me. And similarly, a lot of people tell me that, oh, you're a Muslim, but you don't look like a Muslim. I don't know what image they have about Muslim, perhaps that, you know, having a long beard, skull cap and that kind of stuff. But the image of any community or the image lies in our hands. How we project a certain organization, a company, a community, a group, a team, the image, we are responsible for that ourselves. And when we take the onus that, okay, that's how Empire was formed, Indian Muslims for Peace and Reforms. So that is how Empire was formed. We said, let us come forward with moderate Muslim voices and tell the world, Islam is not what people they think, that, okay, a person only with, you know, because I will accept the fact, I will not deny the fact that a lot of Islam has been misused by a lot of people who are extremists, radicals. They have misused the religion because they haven't understood the religion. It's actually a very beautiful, very simple, very scientific religion. Which religion will say go and blow yourself with suicide bomb? No, but religion will ever teach you that.
Yes.
These are radicals who have been radicalized and brainwashed. Every religion talks about charity, brotherhood, about being kind, being a good human being first. And my religion, all of us, our religion should be humanity actually. That should be the religion for all of us.
All right.
Yes,
Major Shah, you know, it's not about whether India ranks 1 or India ranks 5 or 10. It's really moving beyond that. You know, the truth is that for so long we've had all of these international reports that are imposed on us. For example, a human freedom report ranked India 119, and the reason was low scores in personal, economic and human freedom. And guess what, who's ranked better? Lebanon. You know, so these sort of reports that come out, clearly there is some sort of an agenda, or there is some problem that you know, the authors of these reports have with India, or people who are commissioning these reports. Another report, Human Development, ranks India 132, fall in life expectancy. Who's ranked better? Turkey, Sri Lanka, Maldives and Libya. So one does see a very clear bias. And like I said, perhaps it's not important where India ranks or what India's rank is. The important thing here is, the takeaway is that we release our own reports, and more importantly, we release our own parameters. We present a clear list of parameters that as per India, this is what this is what freedom for minorities and just the development of minorities needs to be assessed on.
Absolutely, Devika. Devika, I believe one thing, that negativity will beget negativity, positivity will beget positivity. So one has to remain positive. I'll give you a small example. In the year 2019, when the CA and NPR and this was going on, and the atmosphere which was created, I mean, it was a right-thinking person like me. I'm giving you my personal example. We started believing that there is going to be a concentration camp and all the minorities would be thrown out of the country and they would be locked up in the, including me, I'm telling this to you. So that was the narrative which was built up, and imagine, you know how broad-minded I am, how progressive thinker I am. When a person like me also would, somewhere I felt, oh God, I'm a patriot, I love my motherland. How can anyone throw me out of my motherland? No, that cannot happen. Because, and I also got doubtful about that. So this kind of negativity, the only virus which spreads rapidly is not coronavirus or plague or anything. It's fear and panic or rumor mongering. So that's what happens. So one has to think of it positively. And as Allama Iqbal once said, खुदी को कर बुलंद इतना कि हर तकदीर से पहले खुदा बंदे से खुद पूछे बता तेरी रज़ा क्या है. So one has got to be better than the best. Forget about minorities. I will say one thing. That supposing there are two people, Devika, and we are coming to you for a favor, and one person is from your village, from your hometown or your locality, other person is not, and both are at par with each other. So it is human tendency, you would tend to, not you only, but it's human tendency, you would have a soft corner for the person who is coming from, who you have affinity towards that person. But if the other person is better than him, is unstoppable, and so one has to make yourself better than the best.
Right.
So if one is educated and one has a standing, no one can bully you or discriminate against you, Devika. I would say that.
Absolutely. I thank all of our panelists for joining us, and we also, of course, encourage our viewers who are watching this show to go read the report. And while you may have criticisms, let's use those criticisms to make our own reports better and better.